Hi, the last time I made a video on an Automata about how the mechanism worked, it turned out to be fairly popular, so I've decided to do again for this little boy fishing.
Okay, so let's talk about the power transmission first. Through the center of the mechanism, and it may be hard to see from this angle, down inside is a shaft which drives most of the action. And out the back is a secondary shaft which actually drives the primary through the set of gears. And over in the front we have a tertiary shaft which goes up through two gears to the handle. The reason for the second gear is merely to get the handle far enough off the table that you can turn it without wrapping your knuckles. You can see here there's an anti-reverse pawl that I put on all my mechanisms so that they can't be turned in the wrong direction. So power comes in through the handle, down through the shaft, through the center set of gears. Let me turn the mechanism a bit for you. And you can see a set of gears in the middle that actually are idling on the center shaft but transport a gear reduction to the back shaft, goes over to the side and then back to the center shaft where this one drives the center shaft. This little shaft works the follower for the boy's feet to swing. This is the output for the Geneva mechanism we'll come back to, and we'll get back to the other side of the Geneva mechanism on the other side in a couple of minutes. As we go across the mechanism, there's two levers here that work the dog. This one works as tail, and this one works as head. Each one has a counterweight in the front, so the weight of them will bring the dog back to work in the neutral position. Down beside the fish in here, you may see a gear which actually drives a mechanism that makes the fish go forward. Again, he needs some assistance to go forward, and if I turn the mechanism around, you'll see here where there's a follower that follows the wheel we talked about, with a cable to a wheel that makes the gear come down, makes the fish go. You can see wiggle as I push it. And then if I turn a little bit more, you can see maybe down inside there's actually a weight that gives the fish enough weight that when the cam lifts, the fish actually goes forward. We'll show him in a minute. While I've got the mechanism at the back here, I should show you maybe the first Geneva mechanism. Down in here there's a Geneva wheel that makes this idler on this back shaft spin. And what this does is these pins on every 90-degree rotation actually prevent this shaft or this follower from coming up, which actually prevents the fish from coming out. So he only goes out once every 4 rotations of this shaft, which is once every 16 rotations of the handle. Back to the front of the mechanism again, we have the mechanism just beside the fish here that drives the arm that pulls the line in the boy's hand. This mechanism, this lever here, runs on a cam, and it follows the neck mechanism of the boy, turning his head. And again, in here there's a fairly large weight to bring the head back to the neutral position. This lever makes his eyes go up and down. And this lever here actually drives the hand with the rod in it. And as you can see, there's two followers. If you can see down here, there's a follower here on the main cam, and then there's a little cam here, so that when the Geneva mechanism goes around, the fishing rod goes even higher as the fish jumps out of the water. We'll show you that in a minute. On this side of the mechanism, to complete over here, are the two seagulls. The seagulls go up and down and wiggle. And this elliptical cam on this shaft here actually drives this counterweight up and down. And through a wire linkage that you can't see installed because the top's not on yet, this will make his feet swing in and out. I want to show you in the center here, there's another large Geneva wheel down in the back here, and it makes this Geneva output wheel swing. And as it swings, this weight that hangs down here gets driven up and comes down and strikes when it falls this, which makes this little fish jump up, which actually makes him look like he's just missed the bait that the little boy's lifted. If we go around the back, you can see on the secondary shaft there's two mechanisms, one here, there's a little slightly, let me turn back a little way this way, there's a follower, a cam here and a follower, and this wire goes through to make the crawfish slide in and out of his hole. And over on the other side we've got a similar mechanism with a different counterweight on it, with a wire goes to the front which makes the catfish's mouth open and close. So let me just turn the mechanism a couple of times, so you can see the two key actions of the Geneva mechanisms. I'm going to go really fast for a minute so we get to the point where things start to happen here. As you can see, it takes a number of turns to make the Geneva mechanisms complete to take the two actions, so it doesn't happen every cycle. Here comes the fish, he balls out, and he sits out for one rotation, I've slowed down, and goes back in again. Shortly after that, you can see on the other side, the weight is coming up here to fall on the lever to make the little fish jump. And you'll see as this Geneva mechanism is just going to start to move. Here he goes, and this weight is going to fall and strike and hits the fish to come up. So that's basically how the mechanism part of the machine works. We'll go back and I'll show you how all the thing works when it's all put together.